Welcome back. It's time for Media Watch on France 24. Our look at the top stories in the press today. James Creedon has the lowdown. Good evening.
Good evening, Lana.
We start with the death in New York of Richard Descoings, one of France's top academics, the director of our alma mater, James, Sciences Po, the political science university. Really a man who revolutionized French education in a lot of ways, shook up people's entrenched habits.
That's right, and very tragically was found dead in his hotel room in Manhattan at 53 years of age. A cloud of mystery around the circumstances of his death and a lot of speculation about that. But principally, it must be said in the French media today, tributes to a man who revolutionized many aspects of French higher education. So just to look at some of those headlines, Rue Saint-Guillaume, that's the address of Sciences Po in the 7th arrondissement of Paris. Merci, merci, merci à Richie. So
he was known as Richie among the students.
That's
it
right.
sort of shows how close he was to many of the students at the university.
And much of the coverage saying he had a very special and close relationship with his students, and so you have some photos here and people pointing to those tributes. And indeed on Twitter, a lot of photos being put up today of those tributes at Rue Saint-Guillaume. Thank you for having changed my life, one person said, and for having changed the lives of many students. So many photos in the grounds of Sciences Po today being put up on Twitter, where a tribute took place at 2 a.m. this morning, shortly after the news came in. Le Figaro pointing out that, as I was saying, he revolutionized Sciences Po, one of France's grande écoles, attached to the whole notion of what's the word? The concours system and egalitarianism.
Equality, yes. There's a common exam to gain entry into Sciences Po, and it's supposed to be the same exam for everyone, no matter what your background is, etc. Richard Descoings sort of changed that a little bit. He was controversial for this.
That's right. He introduced a sort of affirmative action, a sort of an American-style principle. A lot of people said that's against French Republican values, but what he did is he introduced ways for people from disadvantaged backgrounds, in some way, shape, or form, to access grande écoles such as Sciences Po, and it served as a test case in some respects for reforms across the French higher education system. And he was broadly respected for that. Others criticised him for shaking up, Republican values, so to speak. But other headlines, he deconstructed a political myth, I suppose, the fact that things couldn't be changed in this way, shape, or form. Others pointing out that he had a huge degree of influence at the top levels of state. In fact, many tipped him to be the next education minister under François Hollande, and he had a lot of clout as well with Sarkozy and with the centre-right, indeed politicians across the political spectrum. So very broadly respected. Of course, sent speculation around how he died. And indeed, Christopher Dickey here for the Daily Beast saying that Gotham City has become a dangerous playground for, I suppose, France's elite.
A bit of a grisly parallel there.
Absolutely, but that was present, unfortunately, across social media as well today, people drawing that parallel with the Strauss-Kahn scandal.
We're staying in France, and casse-toi pauvre con, I'm not sure I'm allowed to say this on air, one of the sentences that will follow President Nicolas Sarkozy for the rest of his career. He blurted it out against a heckler once. It's back in headlines today. Right,
well, let's remind viewers of what happened back in 2008 at the agricultural fair. He got into a bit of a verbal spat. We'll take a look. Right, so a sort of inelegant moment for the French president.
It made a lot of noise back then.
That's right, and it dogged him really for the rest of his mandate. In any case, it even became a T-shirt, if we see here, casse-toi pauvre con, sort of a slogan for his presidency. Today he was on the French island of Réunion. Let's take a look at what happened when another heckler came to the fore.
So, wait a second, he's being heckled with his own sentence.
He's being heckled with his own retort to the heckler back in 2008.
That's pretty clever. You've got to give it to that guy.
And he was swiftly taken off by the police, of course, and arrested. Now, I suppose people are talking about that because he was much calmer in this moment where, somebody heckled him. And they're saying, look, the president, perhaps he has indeed changed at a moment where he could come out with some smart remark. He very calmly ignored the heckler and went on thanking the other people who were welcoming him to the island. So there you go, dogging him, but he's perhaps changed in terms of how he responds to these moments.
He's learned from the first time in the scandal then.
Exactly.
And more French politicians. Today we're looking at Ségolène Royal and François Hollande, formerly a golden couple of French politics. Of course, they've been separated for a few years. Today they appeared side by side again.
That's right, at a rally in Rennes, and many people surprised, in fact, I suppose, at the fact that she was put to the foreground. But it shows, I suppose, the efforts that the Socialist Party are making to put on a united front, that, you know, putting this formerly feuding couple up on stage together. So the candidate in 2007, the candidate in 2012, former life partners, 4 children between them, and they're putting on a united front for the Elysée.
They really want to win.
Yes.
Thanks very much for
Thanks,
that,
Anna.
James Creedon. That was Media Watch. Thank you at home for watching. Do stay tuned. Live from Paris continues. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.